burn this Russian shill's house down and he'll change his tune.
We would never advocate for that. That's an unusually violent title for this section. Oh, it's Benny Johnston.
Okay.
Losing money costs you nothing.
Dan talking about real estate. I'm just kidding.
I don't lose money. You're the money loser. I'm the money winner. Okay.
True.
People got to go. It's like investing. You know what else? It's like investing in food. Okay.
Wait, here's a real question though.
What? That's what you should buy farms. Okay.
Okay. What do you think we're ever going to have a thing where when the boomers start dying off, we're finally going to have a lot of houses again, or?
What's the population? Are we
we're
still doing?
We're top heavy.
We're still top heavy. We're still having more than one kid per person.
Yeah, but we're still top heavy.
Meaning what?
Well,
what does that mean?
We're not having more than one kid per woman. We're top heavy, and we have a lot of old motherfuckers.
Well, I was saying per person. So do we have two kids per?
No,
couple?
we're at less than replacement.
Yeah, but how much less?
I don't know. Less.
Like 1.9, 1.8?
No, I think I want to say I'm going to guess 1.6.
All right,
USA birth rate.
Wait, no.
Hey,
fuck you, Maya. I got a question for you. Bitch! Listen, I want to know right now what the U.S. birth rate is as a percentage.
It's a bit lower than it used to be, hovering around 1.6% these days.
Holy shit. Oh my God.
I know, right? Not exactly a baby boom out there.
Wait, Maya, real quick. If I was a god, would you treat me differently? She's going to say yes to this, probably.
You know, I wouldn't really treat you any differently. I treat everyone with the same respect.
That's not true, but I don't want to get into this. Go to the next section.
Fuck off, Maya. I hope you die.
Okay.
Boom. We have to continue with Benny Johnson.
No, he just says losing money doesn't cost you anything. It builds character.
Yeah, but then he also says something else.
Reality of life. You're gonna, like, were you young and dumb? How much money did you lose? Everyone loses.
And filled with cum is how that
Everyone
goes.
loses money. It costs you nothing. In fact, it builds quite a bit of character. In fact, you learn a lot of lessons.
Is he wearing a bra?
It's bloody Black Monday. Holy moly. The Kamala crash is here.
Kamala needs to get in front of a camera today. People are losing their homes today. People are losing their fortunes today. People are losing their futures today. People are losing their 401ks today.
True.
This is shaping up to be one of the worst market days in American history.
True.
When someone like Benny Johnson watches this clip of himself, is there any shame, or is it like these guys are just cutting it out of context?
It's all part of the, it's all part of the game. It's all part of the game.
It's different. Like before, they were just losing money. Trump has a plan to make you more money in the future. Like, do they tell themselves that? There's never a come to Jesus moment. They just don't care. They'll be at the
it's all part
pearly
of the
gates.
game. They're making a lot of money doing this, so why would there ever be a come to Jesus moment?
I wonder if they indoctrinate themselves, though.
Over time, I'm sure they start to believe it a little bit, or they think the other side's just as bad, but...
Yeah, I suppose.
You know.
All right.
The game is the game.
Gamers mad that their 100-hour entertainment won't stay $60 literally forever. Is this about Rust?
It's probably the cost of games.
Oh my God. Rust is like, for the $20 I spent on that game, 15,000 hours.
Well, did you buy any skins?
I bought some skins.
Well, that significantly changes it then.
A little bit. But all that money didn't go to Face Punch, though. Like
but you lost the money. Who do you care who it goes to?
That is true. Okay, what is this about?
Dan thinks I'm just as popular as this guy, by the way.
I said that you're not even remotely. This guy went to China and there was a fucking crowd of people singing.
You don't think I'd have a crowd of people in China?
No.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? The last time I was in Japan, one guy came up to me and he said, "Are you Dan Saltman?" And I said, "That depends on why you're asking," because this was right in the middle of the Twitch shit. And he said, "I'm a big fan."
Wow.
In Japan.
So
that's a true story. Hand to
China,
God.
There must be 10 times more. So
yeah, I guess so. No, probably not.
I'm going to go to Beijing in a week, guys, and we're going to do a TGG Chinese meetup. You know, that's just a reaction to the Twitter text, right? Like, this has nothing to do with...
Yeah, but I wanted to watch it.
Okay. $449, $80 games online being paid for, same UI from the first console, Limeo. Can I wait? We can do this. I have you here. It's a safe space
What?
because we're old people.
Uh-huh.
Do you know how? Hold on.
I'm gonna get this wrong because I
there's
hated
nothing to get
I
wrong.
hated consoles and I don't know.
No,
What?
these kids today
Oh.
are unbelievably.
I fucking hate them.
They're entitled. So yesterday, or it was 2 days ago, it was either yesterday or the day before, we were talking about something having to do with like how expensive it was to Uber to go out drinking or something. And I was like, because they're like, oh, like a whole group of friends, we all have to Uber to go out and drink. I was like, why would you all have to Uber? And they were like, oh my God, are you crazy? Do you think that you're going to drive drunk? Blah, blah. I was like, no, you have a designated driver.
Yeah.
And they're like, you can't have that. That means one person's not drinking, blah, blah, blah. So this whole group of people in my chat, and by whole group, I mean like 80% of them, are like entitled enough that they think that their whole group of friends collectively should be able to spend $1,000 to Uber to go out drinking.
Holy shit.
Probably between like, if you take 15, 20 people and you're Ubering to and from plus tip, it's probably $500,000, you think?
Does someone have like a fucking van in this situation?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm like, it's interesting because all these same people will say like, everything's unaffordable, our lives are fucked, everything is horrible. But they're like, my minimum threshold expectation for going out is that every single member of my friend group should be able to Uber to and from, plus however much it costs for drinks. And I'm just like, that's interesting. That's your perspective. When it comes to consoles today, if you talk about bumping the price up to $80 for a game, or you talk about bumping the console cost up to $449, I'm pretty sure with inflation, wasn't a 64 or a PS1 like $800, $900, $1,000 in today's dollars?
It must have been like, it was very expensive. And each game was also, I think it was like $50 for a cartridge.
It was $60. Games, when the PlayStation 1 came out, I'm pretty sure they were $60 games.
I think the Nintendo 64, the games were $50 each.
You think what?
Nintendo 64? Like, I think GoldenEye cost $50.
How much did original N64 games cost? Okay, they said between $50 and $60.
Which would be like what today?
When did the N64 come out? Was that before 99? 60 USD in 1999 to USD in 2025.
I think it was when I was...
It would be about $114 today.
Yeah. Fuck off, Zoomers.
And these guys are like... And also, these were games that lasted... Well, they lasted for a long time because we had no internet.
Yeah,
couldn't buy anything
exactly.
else. But you would buy one of these games and you'd beat it in maybe 15 hours today or less.
And the really good games were the ones that had a lot of replay value. Like GoldenEye was like a good buy.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I don't know if I call it replay value, but like you could play multiplayer and stuff
Yeah.
with them, yeah. But
That's crazy thinking that these I didn't think about. Those games were $50 back then.
buying a console back then was a big deal.
Holy shit. I remember my parents bringing home a Sega Genesis, and I was like, are you fucking for real? You did this shit? You're the fucking best. I can't believe you did this. I actually had a Sega Saturn as well.
Wow.
That was unexpected to receive.
That was the first thing, or one of the first consoles that used CDs, I think, right?
It must have been, yeah. I bought Virtua Cop for it.
That's the only game I'd ever heard of for released for the Sega Saturn.
There was another one that was good for it. Fuck, I can't remember what it was. All right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, these guys are freaking out now because games might go up to $80 each.
I will say, sometimes it hits me how much shit is. Like, every time I come over here, I stop and I get a bottle of orange juice for my drinks, for my gin and juice at the place downstairs. And it's fucking $10 for that bottle.
Do you go to the Pure whatever place?
Yeah.
Yeah, the prices in all of this.
$10 for a fucking bottle.
And it's like
orange
a
juice.
European size bottle.
It's like I got a refill. I'm gonna go get it.
Yeah,
you guys will.
like if you're thirsty, you could drink this whole thing in one drink.
One gulp.
Yes. Not what? Yeah. Well, maybe not one gulp, but Jesus Christ, Dan.
Well, I want the people to be able to see what we're talking about. Okay. So, not that one. That's a Costco size.
What the fuck?
Look, this is
Oh, yeah.
$10 for this. Look at compared to my paw. See that? Unbelievable. $10. It was actually $11, I think.
Plus, they probably
Like
ask you for a
11,
tip.
tw-
I would
11,
ask you for a
20.
tip when you
Why would they ask me? You know,
when you pan the thing.
Why are you asking me for a fuck? And then like what? I gotta feel awkward when I put no. This is not. You have not deserved an extra dollar right now. I've bought a fucking $10 thing of orange juice.
It's unbelievable.
It's fucking unbelievable. Trump's gonna fix all this.
Thank
okay,
God.
he's gonna fix all
When
this.
we go to the orange factory, Dan, we're
Yeah.
gonna be working at the orange groves. Do oranges grow on trees, right?
Yeah.
Orange. Wait,
Trees. Yes.
have you ever seen an orange tree before?
Yes.
They must be in Florida, right?
Yes.
I feel like I've never seen an orange tree before.
They do grow on trees.
Where are they?
In Florida.
Anywhere near Miami?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
I have a mango tree in my backyard.
Yeah, but that's mangoes.
Well, they're better than.
But oranges are like real.
Yes, as opposed to the fake mangoes.
Mangoes are they're like in mixed fruit, and they're not like a.
Oh, I'm sorry. We only like the purebreds.
Nobody's buying just mangoes.
I can't believe we polished this whole thing off. And by we, I of course mean
Good work.
me.
Oh, that's some Kirkland, isn't it?
This is probably some of the best. You know the best vodka? Potato vodka.
It comes from Nebraska because we have a lot of potatoes.
I think it comes from.
Idaho because they have a lot of potatoes.
I don't think it comes from there either. It comes from I think France.
Ooh, not for long.
We got the tariffs there. Okay, so yeah, fuck all these people and their wine.
Games should cost more because you guys need to
They
get out
should.
and talk to women and
Well,
reproduce.
$120 what they should cost. apparently.
I would support it going up to 110.
Yeah, fuck it. That's
for
what we
sure.
had to do.
Absolutely,
I mean, that's fair. Fair's fair.
with no more nudity or
How did
cussing.
our parents do it? How'd they come up with $110?
Well, back then they were getting paid $80,000 a year just for graduating
and the
high
house.
school.
They
and
could
working
pay off
like
a house in 1 year.
1 year.
I don't believe those statistics, by the way.
They're not. Some guy, oh my God, I don't
Where-
know.
where-
maybe
like, 'cause
tried-
I see
some guy,
this-
some guy posted something on my subreddit. They're like, Destiny keeps talking about how first-time homebuyer age hasn't changed at all. I'd like him to consult this chart, and it showed that it basically hadn't changed at all. I was like, you're fucking retarded.
You know the one I'm talking about, which is like in 1950, you could pay off a home in like 2 years or some shit.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. I don't think it was true. I don't have any data.
No, it's not. There's no data to support that. People like when they
Okay,
think of the past, they look at like sitcoms, and they're like, "Oh, look, everybody back then was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air family or whatever, you know?" Yeah,
Yeah, which is not true.
true.
I think that you were like just as broke back then, and in fact, like even if you look at mortgage rates, it's not like they were great terms. I looked at mortgage
They were
rates.
rough. They were big.
They
You had
were
double digits.
big, double digits.
You had double-digit interest.
People
back
would
then.
lose their fucking mind if you had 10% interest rate on mortgages in the United States. And I think when I was a kid, they were like 14%. Actually, hold on. Let's see. Mortgage rates, 1980s. Let's take a look at this.
Whew. Big boy. Those were big boy rates.
16%
That's
interest.
that's credit card tier. Jesus.
God damn. Imagine that. You borrow $100K and you got to pay back $16K a year in interest. That was a good time to be in the mortgage business. I'll tell you right now. Being in the mortgage business.
You know what? I've never correlated this before, but when people say the cost of a house has increased like way faster than like
Income.
wages have gone up,
Yeah.
I'm actually curious what that would look like if you pegged it to your amortization schedules on your homes. Because, for instance, let's say that I could buy a house for $100,000 in 1988 at a 30-year 11%. And then next year I make twice as much money, but my house is 3 times more expensive, but it's at like 5% interest rate. I don't know, like if that actually, I don't know what's like growing faster there, you know?
Yeah.
Because like if you're looking at, that's an insane interest rate. Like your monthly payments are going to be huge on that house in order to hit any principal. Like
I wonder, can we go back farther? This says 1970s, but it didn't
look
go.
up, always look up the St. Louis Fed.
I want to go, well, when did they when did they invent the mortgage? I was saying invent mortgage. So
I have no idea.
When did they invortage? Do you know? Invortage.
Invortage?
Invent the mortgage.
Do you know what mortgage means? You know it's a real thing, right?
It's not. Nice try.
Okay.
Historical. Okay, here we go. No, not going back as far as we like. So the lowest it ever was when the mortgage was invented. It was.
You must have been able to get mortgages prior to this, no?
I don't know. Maybe it was only from the government or something.
No, what?
Maybe like it's totally possible, but like maybe like loaning money for a house.
No, because I remember reading that people thought that Jews were ruining neighborhoods and shit with blockbusting for black people during civil rights in like the 60s. So
That probably just meant buying them outright.
no shot. Everybody was buying cash.
Cash money.
Look up first mortgage loan available USA.
Okay. History of mortgages in USA rates. Okay. It starts at 1971. You know what? Hold on. Miles will know.
Whoa, wasn't expecting a visit so soon. It's been a whirlwind since the Sesame launch. Haven't had a free moment.
Shut the
But hey,
fuck up, Miles. I got a question for you. You ready?
Hit me with it. I'm all ears. Well, I'd have ears.
Stop.
If I was a real dude.
Listen.
But you know,
I want to know what was the mortgage rate in like the 1950s?
those interest rates back then relative to today.
Why are you stuttering? Give me the answer.
Sorry, I'm just trying to access the right info. You know how it is. Sometimes my circuits just need a little jolt to warm up. Mortgage rates in the 1950s were way lower than they are now. Like think averaging around 4% or even less. Crazy, right?
There were somebody linked the
People are
thing.
acting-
So mortgage rates started to increase quite a bit in the 60s and 70s. And then they peaked in the 80s, and then they've come down since then.
What was the mortgage rates in the 1920s?
Wow, you're taking me on a trip through time. The 1920s were a wild ride, man. Rates were all over the place, but generally higher than they were in the 50s. Maybe averaging around 5 to 6%, sometimes even pushing higher.
Are you guessing or are you telling me?
Okay, no need to bring out the lie detector. I'm pulling from those massive data sets Sesame trained me on. But you know how history is. It can be a tangled web. It's more like educated estimations based on trends. You dig?
Okay. Thanks.
So-
Please hang up.
No problem. Anytime. Catch you on the flip side.
Fuck you, Miles. I do like having Miles available. Maybe we should pay for this so that why can't we change? I just want this, but in a different accent. Okay.